CBS 8 is celebrating Earth Week, so every night this week at 6, we're bringing you stories about the planet and environment ahead of Earth Day next Monday. Taking care of our planet continues to be important now more than ever.
Again, with Earth Day coming up next week, we're taking a look back at its history, now spanning more than 50 years. CBS 8's Jenny Day has this Earth 8 throwback.
I'm here in the Channel 8 archive room. The amount of history captured on camera is just incredible. And that includes some of the very first organized efforts to better protect our planet. We live in a beautiful place. From the mountains, desert, and coast, planet Earth is a wonder. And since 1970, there's been great interest to take better care of our home.
The first Earth Day was officially in 1970, and it came out after about 100 years of industrialization in the U.S.
This is an original typewriter script from April 22nd, 1970, that read on CBS 8 News like this: America has seen D-Day and M-Day. Today was our first E-Day, standing for environmental awareness.
I'm reading here, like, San Diego State College students wore blue and green armbands of conservation and took the opportunity to distribute and sell literature, bumper stickers, and badges.
We've covered Earth Day every year since.
It's interesting to note that on this Earth Day, 1977, most of the solutions presented for the Earth's energy problems will come from the sun.
If there's one thing that stands out the most about Earth Day, it's the word save. Save the whale, save energy.
Our conservation efforts can be impactful and still somewhat simple.
These kids have really come through and have made this one of the most exciting days Morris has had.
Just like today, they were encouraged to take other forms of transportation.
We had a teacher that rode a horse.
This environmental movement started by a junior senator from Wisconsin, Gaylord Nelson, who was inspired by a massive oil spill in Santa Barbara. Also, after we started pumping out plastic in the 1950s, we learned about the environmental and health effects coming from a spike in the use of those chemicals. So the senator recruited a young activist, Dennis Hayes, who remains on the board today, to talk about air and water pollution on college campuses.
I think it was just a willingness to travel all around, and people do care about the environment. Like, no one wants to see it fall apart. It was just somebody needed to be a leader in that space and kind of bring attention to both civil society, so the general population, and to the government that, hey, there needs to be something done. We can't just continue down this path of the world catching on fire. And it just sparked a whole movement that's still going on to this day.
Groups that had been fighting individually against things like power plants and pesticides united on Earth Day. It started as a bipartisan issue, and within the first year led to the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency, Occupational Safety and Health Act, and the Clean Air Act. You can still encourage legislation today.
Reaching out to your local congresspeople, your local legislators, to be like, hey, I care about the environment. What steps can I do, or what steps can you do?
The care and concern for our planet only increased and led to more action in 1980 with things like the Endangered Species Act and Toxic Substances Control Act. It is often our marine life who bear the brunt.
Plastic doesn't truly break down ever. So even though you can't see it with your naked eye, it's still there. And when you look into our marine systems, it's just piling up on our ocean floors. Yeah. So you're inhaling it through your lungs, you're drinking it in your water, you're eating it in your food.
Another decade later, 1990 brought a big boost to recycling efforts worldwide. But we've learned it's not doing enough.
Plastic recycling is currently a failure. 5% in the U.S. of plastic is recycled. It's 9% globally.
EarthDay.org says the large corporations mostly responsible for making single-use plastic need to be held accountable and revert to using materials like glass.
Pressure is going to come from both, legislation saying you need to be responsible for these cleanups. Like, the cleanup costs alone are huge, but the cost on our healthcare systems because of plastic is equivalent to $250 billion a year in the U.S. alone.
From the year 2000 to now, billions of people have taken action around the world and are currently focused on global warming and pushing for clean energy. So from conserving water to using reusable bags and bottles, you can also participate in a cleanup or plant a tree.
Planting a tree is hugely beneficial. I mean, trees do a great job at sequestering carbon, better than anything that we can come up with.
A global treaty surrounding plastic is also in the works as as we speak. So until then, we hope you're inspired to do your part this Earth Day and every day. With this Earth 8 throwback, I'm Jenny Day for CBS 8.